Hey guys, Rob Shoecraft here with 3Storm Fitness. Today I'm going to begin a series where I'm going to go through and give very quick explanations. I'm going to try to keep it under 4 minutes for each explanation, for each answer to frequently asked questions with regard to strength training, fitness, and nutrition. And this video is going to be a little bit longer than the 4 minutes because I got to give this little spiel ahead of time. But I'm going to do my best because I want to keep them short because otherwise they're going to be so very long. So if you have, I'm going to leave a lot of stuff out. So if you have questions about it, please, by all means, let me know, or go ahead and do some homework on the on the studies that I reference, etc. So real quick, I'm going to give you some background on why I'm doing this. In no particular order. Number one, I just think it's great. I'm really interested in this stuff, and I think people need to know. So all this is going to be based on evidence-based answers to frequently asked questions. I should have started with that. What do I mean by evidence-based? I mean that scientific studies that back up these answers. Furthermore, not just single studies, but collections of studies. In most of these cases, going to be meta-analyses. So a series of very similar studies. This is a meta-analysis in a nutshell. A series of very similar studies where whoever's reviewing them goes through and basically finds out the whole, all the means and all the significance and everything that plays into that, based on a collection of studies, not just a single study, which has much more room for error. Okay, so I created on my website, this is I guess the second reason, a table of currently have 83 different answers to frequently asked questions based on meta-analyses giving evidence to the answer. I did that, and I'm going to give full disclosure here, guys. I did that. My first thought was there's this great service that I subscribe to. I think I pay $30 a month, and it might be 25. I think I paid the year up front, but whatever it is, 25, $30 a month, called MASS. I've talked about it before, MASS Research Review, and they have an awesome affiliate program. So for anybody that I refer, they'll give me 50% of that referral bonus. So look, I gotta make some money. You don't have to, there's no pressure at all. I'm gonna give this information as much as I can for free without impeding on what they offer in their premium content. But just know that if you go from this video to my website, to their website, and buy the product, I may get paid a little bit. I may get $15 from it, okay? So just know that I'm throwing that out there. I do want to make money. I'm a human being. Okay, but the other reason is this stuff is super valuable. It's just good. And evidence-based, I don't want to talk for too long. I do want to keep this kind of short. But evidence-based, that term is used so often, but for good reason, I guess. It really needs to operate in conjunction with experience. Okay, so you got to know that a lot of these studies, even the meta-analyses, even the ones that are, pretty much, I don't want to say guaranteed, but that have a very strong support to the hypothesis, whatever they're testing. Even those aren't going to work for everybody. All right, and even those need other studies to back them up. This is a constantly evolving process. So what this is really meant to do is just kind of give you a starting block, or maybe give you some information to help win an argument with somebody. Ultimately, regardless of what you do, you have to try it for yourself, or you have to try it for your clients, because number one, not all of this is conclusive. It's not magic. It's not all going to work all the time. And number two, kind of on the heels of that, even the bulletproof concepts, even the bulletproof advice, the answers, they're not going to work for everybody. You have these outliers that are you just have to figure that out on your own. You might be one yourself. So just know all that. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to start off, like I said, I'm going to try to keep these under 4 minutes. I know I'm going to go way over on this one just because I had to give that spiel. But let's go ahead and start with the first question, and that would be, do you have to lift heavy weights to get strong, to maximize your strength? The answer, in short, is yes, absolutely. So this is a study, and I'll get into kind of the whatabouts and the exceptions. This is a study titled Strength and Hypertrophy Adaptation Between Low and High Load Resistance Training. And that was by Schoenfeld, Gurgic, I'm sorry, but it's Grgic, Osborne and Krieger. Those are the scientists who put that together. That's the only notes I have on this. All right, I want to get the names right, which I got wrong. Yes, you do. So what they did, in short, was they went over 21 different studies, and the similarities among them were every participant was training for a minimum of 6 weeks. Every participant was either training with 60% of their 1 rep max. So basically, if I'll do simple math for my sake, if you could bench press 100 pounds, all right, if you're in the folks that are testing underneath that 60%, you're going to be only lifting weights that go up to 60 pounds. If you're in over, you're going to be also lifting weights that go 60 pounds or above. Hopefully that makes sense. 60% of your 1 rep max. What they found was that the folks who trained 60% and above, the folks who were in that kind of that heavy category, which, I mean, if you're really into getting a lot stronger, you're going to be going heavier than that. But 60% is a pretty good mark, especially since a lot of these folks are untrained, and I'll talk about that in a second. So what they found, you have to hit 60%. Those folks, their strength gains were much higher than the folks who trained under 60%. Now, one thing they did find was that hypertrophy, muscle growth, so there's strength and muscle growth. They are related, there's overlaps, but they're not the same. They're two totally different things, especially the higher you go, the stronger you get, or the bigger, the more jacked you get. You have to focus on one or the other at times. That's a whole other conversation in itself. But anyways, hypertrophy gains were just about even in both of those. And just as kind of a side note, they went to failure in both categories. In other words, they did their sets until they could not pump out another rep. You're going to find in a lot of these other studies that I've researched that failure is a very common, going to failure is a very common key to maximizing hypertrophy. Now, whatever you want to say about that topic, I understand there are exceptions to that. I understand that there are different schools of thought. That's just what the literature that I have reviewed says, okay? So don't crucify me for that, please. Or you can if you want, I guess. I don't care. So now you're going to have some people that are going to say, well, that's not true because, look at our military, for instance. They do hundreds of push-ups a day and pull-ups and squats, and they're running all the time. And all those guys, you hear people coming out of the Army saying, I was in the best shape of my life. I was stronger than I ever was. This and that and the other. You look at kind of your classic phys ed, 70s phys ed class. Nowadays, kids just bowl and whatever else they do in gym. I guess find excuses to get out of it, whatever it is. But look at your classic calisthenics or Jack LaLanne stuff. People are getting stronger there. Look at any client I've ever trained. They get stronger in the first few weeks just doing, basic body weight movements and high repetitions. That is due to something called the strengthening threshold. It's a principle or a rule or a theory, one of those. I first read about in the book Super Training. And the strengthening threshold, basically, this sums up the strengthening threshold. Anything that you do when you're starting out and in resistance training, anything that you do is going to make you stronger and it's going to help you develop muscle with consistency. Okay, it's when you start going. So that could be for 1 to 2 weeks for the intermuscular coordination and intramuscular coordination for the following few weeks. And then you start getting a little extra hypertrophy in like 6 to 12 weeks, and then so on and so on. So, but eventually you're going to hit this plateau, and that's where this answer kind of falls into. Once you max out you max out the potential from those green gains, those newbie gains. Where are you going to be? You got to choose. You can get big and huge by training on relatively light weights, depending on what your programming is and your diet and your sleep and everything. But if you want to get stronger, you have to start lifting heavy. Okay, I'm going to cut it out of that. I could talk forever on this subject, and there's so much I left out, but that should get you started. I'm going to put a link to my 83 frequently asked questions down at the bottom. And like I said, if you want to go on and check out what Mass has to offer, I highly recommend it. If you're kind of a geek or you're a strength coach or a personal trainer or whatever, I really think you'll benefit from that. But if you don't, no big deal. Just check out the table. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep the rest of these under 4 minutes. You might be laughing if you've seen any of my videos, but that's all right. That's my goal. All right. Please subscribe to my videos. Again, my name is Rob Shoecraft. This is 3 Storm Fitness. Thanks very much. Have a good day.